Hi, hello, I'm Pyra Z, your little fireflower. Welcome to what I hope is the first of many videos like this. Well, I had this idea to tell Dungeons and Dragons stories in kind of an ASMR format, so fingers crossed this goes well and it is the first of many. Okay, now, how do I begin to tell my D&D story? Do I start in the beginning of the campaign? Or when things get interesting? Or do I begin with the backstory? I don't know. I guess I'll begin with a tiny wild elf child called Aligaliah. She was a social outcast in her village because when she was a babe, she was abandoned on the doorstep of the village elder with what looked like a fresh brand seared into her back and a note scratched roughly on the back of a wanted poster. Aligaliah didn't know much of her parentage, only rumours of how deformed her mother was, and nothing of her father. The village elder may have taken her into his home, but never let her into his heart, which meant she never knew what it was like to be a daughter. Just an assistant, always having to run around the village doing odd jobs instead of playing with the other younglings. Not that the other children would have accepted her because of the rumours of her deformed mother and the looming question of why she was abandoned, which Aligaliah didn't even know herself. Between her lessons that all the younglings had to take part in, and all the jobs that she did for the elder, she learnt that she had quite the talent for magic. As she grew, the more ostracized she became in the community, and when it came to her naming day on her 16th birthday, instead of a big party where she would gain her adult name, which was the custom in her village, and which would then be followed by another 16 years just to adjust to the new name, the preparation for the next stage of their lives in adulthood. Instead of what everyone else got, she was named in secret, kicked out of the only home she ever knew, with nothing but the shabby clothes on her back and an envelope. The village elder said, "Now that you have your adult name, you are not my problem anymore." In which she responded with, "What? What do you mean, not your problem anymore?" "Custom dictated that I was only obligated to take you into my home until your adult naming, so you are not my problem anymore." "Is that all I was to you? Your obligation?" She started crying, and was swiftly followed by him demanding that she take her filth, her disgrace, her nuisance with her, and never return, as he handed her the envelope. Aligaliah just looked at him in shock from his cold cruelty and wiped away the snot that was dripping from her nose and asked, But I was useful to you, wasn't I?" He sneered and said, "If you come back to this house or this village, you will be pelted with rocks, as the exile you are." She suddenly looked up. "Exile? What do you mean, exile?" He spat on the ground right in front of her feet and said, "No one in this village wants the hassle of taking you in, or even the hassle and bother of the sight or smell of you." Lucalia sniffed at herself self-consciously, as what felt like a revelation occurred to her, and she spoke up with what she felt would change his mind. But you trained me to control magic, to make things easier for you. And she began to look at him, hopeful that it had worked. He sneered and said, "That was an accident," under his breath, and said, "Don't say I didn't. I never gave you anything," and slammed the door in Lucalia's face. She slumped down into a sulking pose on the threshold, not knowing what to do with herself, and cried. 5 minutes passed. Then the elder swung the door open, making her fall backwards into the home. But before her head landed on the floor, he kicked her back out through the door in a manner that was more of a stomp. "Get out! I'm getting my rocks." Lucalia got up and began to walk away slowly, and he called out, "Hey! Don't forget your crap." She began to look back hopefully on the hay and was crushed by the remainder of his sentence as she runs and grabs the envelope right before it landed in a puddle. She hears a rock land on the ground right behind her, and she rushed away from the only home that she had ever known, in the direction of the rest of the village. It wasn't until Lucalia came across the first villager that she realized she had done goofed. By walking in that direction instead of the other, she, although emotionally crushed, was hopeful when she saw someone else. But instead of listening to her or even ignoring her, they called out to gather more villagers. Yet Lucalia remained hopeful that the rest of the community would help her. But all they did was call a mob with rocks in hand, and they pelted her with rocks. It was as though the whole village had a town meeting and agreed to ostracize and banish. Yeah, banish is the word I was looking for. From the village. Which landed Lucalia fleeing from the village, all battered and bruised. As the villagers chased her away, she instantly summoned an illusion that ran down the opposite road from herself, leading the mob in the opposite direction as they chased her. Once Lucalia had ran for at least 5 minutes without getting hit by rocks, she finally stopped running and dropped to her knees and just stayed there in a heap. Didn't move until well into the night. When the light rain stopped for the first time in a week and the clouds cleared, revealing the full moon and allowing the moonlight's glow to touch her skin, which began her introspection. That's the word I was looking for. moonlight's glow to touch her skin, which began her introspection. What should I do? Everything is over. My world is over. Why now? What does an adult name have to do with me being old enough to take care of myself? I mean, I'm not even an adult. I'm only halfway there. How is the obligation only until I'm 16? I'm a child, for fuck's sake. What even is this stupid thing? Why is it so important that he gave it to me instead of something useful, like gold or something I could use to help me survive? She tore the envelope open to find a previously screwed-up wanted poster with a description. Wanted wild elf by the name of Drusilla. Warning, if you see this wildly erratic, mutated wild elf, keep your distance and find the lawman as quickly as you can. She is very unstable, very dangerous, not to mention triggerish and mad. Keep your distance for your own physical and mental good. With a crudely drawn image of the individual in question. On the other side of the poster, scratched crudely, is a note. You are my tribe. This is my child. You must raise her. I am going after her mother, Drusilla. Her name is a Lucalia. Screw your dishonor. What the hell? I was left with the elder by my father? Not my mother? What the fuck does it mean by dishonor? She went to tear it up and take out all of her confusion, pain out of it, on this stupid poster that gave her more questions than answers. It is in this moment that Lucalia decided. Screw my answers. I am a Lucalia no more. I am, and forever will be, a Neferia. I will keep this paper of questions as a reminder to leave my past behind me. She picked herself up off the muddy ground and began using her training to find her way to the nearest village or town in hopes of getting some help, or at least some equipment, or a place to clean up, hopefully a hot meal. As she walked in the opposite direction of the village she had always known. Her people didn't trust outsiders, so she hoped and prayed that there would be a safe place for her to start over. She was wrong. I hope that this worked alright, and that this is going well. If you did enjoy this story or my way of telling the story, please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments. Who knows, you might actually help me find a better way to do this. But yeah, I really hope that this has been entertaining and maybe even somewhat relaxing with, you know, the sound effects throughout. And well, fingers crossed this goes well, and hopefully there'll be another one in like a month's time and I can tell you what happened. But until then, please like, subscribe. I'm Pyra Z, your little fireflower, and I shall see you next time.